Here we've been asked to find the equation of the line in three different forms: the y equals mx plus b form, the point slope form, the general form, and that passes through the points. Okay, so I've drawn the points 2, 5, -8, -3, and the line's going to look like this. So the first thing I want to do for anything is I want to find out the slope between those 2 points. So I'm going to look at my slope triangle, and looking at my slope triangle, my rise and run. So I could use a slope formula, but really I can just, calculate it on my graph here. So the change in y is going to be y1 minus y2. So I'm going to do 5 minus -3. Okay, and that's going to give me +8. Okay, so I've gone from my starting position of -3 to my ending position of +5. I've gone up 8. When I do my change in x, I just have to make sure that if I started with the 5, I've got to start with the 2 for the x. Okay, so that's my ending position. My starting position is going to be -8, so it's going to be 2 minus -8, and that gives me +10 as my run. Okay, so my slope then works out to be, the slope is +8 over +10. We can leave it like that. I can put it as a decimal. I'm going to write this as a fraction, 4/5 in simplified form. So that's the most important part. The rest of this can be fairly straightforward. Now, the easiest form to use is the point slope form. And although we may not be as familiar with the point slope form, it really is the easiest form to use. So I'm going to start with 2, the point slope form. So the point slope form, all I'm going to do is put y equals, I need my slope, 4/5. I need my x minus. Now my point that I'm going to use, it doesn't matter if I use 2, 5, -8, -3. I can use any coordinate on this line. I can figure out what the y-intercept and use that if I really wanted to. It doesn't matter. I can use any coordinate. So I'm going to arbitrarily just use the 2 and the 5. Okay, so there's x equals 2 and y equals 5. And there's my equation. I'm done. I don't need to rearrange anything. I just plug in the slope and plug in any point on the line, and I have the equation of the line. So that's the easiest way to do it. And I think that converting from this to the y equals mx plus b form is fairly straightforward. The other strategies would be to calculate slope, plug it into the equation for y equals mx plus b, and then we can use one of the coordinates to solve for b, and that would work as well. But this is a kind of a shortcut. If I've already got the point slope form, which really we're going to start using more and more, all I have to do is rearrange the same equation. I'm just going to multiply through, so I end up with 4/5x minus 8/5 plus 5. I'm going to rewrite 5 as 25/5 to get a common denominator. What I'm doing is I'm going to just combine these like terms, and then when I do that, I have my point slope form. Sorry, not my point slope, my y equals mx plus b form. So I have my slope, 4/5, and when I combine my like terms, I'm going to end up with a y-intercept of 17/5. So that represents the y-intercept. That's approximately 3.4. So if I take a look at the y-intercept, that looks about right. Okay, so I'm just going to clean that up a little bit. That represents my y-intercept. Now, we can go use either the point slope form or the y-intercept form and convert this into the general form with the ax plus by plus c equals 0 form. So to do that, I'm going to, again, I like the point slope form, so I'm going to just start with the point slope form, and I'm just going to get rid of the fraction. So this is for the general form, starting with the point slope form. I'm going to multiply through by 5 because the general form does not have rational coefficients. It's got whole number coefficients. So when I multiply this through, I get 5y is equal to 4x minus 2 plus 25. Now, if I'm doing this, I just have to make sure I'm careful with my algebra. I'm not going to double multiply the brackets. I'm going to make sure I distribute every term. Now, if you want to get rid of the brackets inside brackets first, then multiply by 5, that would also work. Now I have my coefficients, and in the general form, we just need to remember that we have to keep the x coefficient positive. So I'm going to move the y to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 5y from both sides. So I get 4x minus 5y, and then combining like terms, I get plus 17. So there is the general form of my equation. Okay, so that represents the third solution here. I have my y equals mx plus b form. And I have my point slope form, which is, in my opinion, by far the easiest and the one that we're going to use the most once we get into grade 12 and calculus in particular. In particular, in calculus, we use this point slope form a lot.